Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Mine is almost over. It's already Sunday evening, night almost. And yeah, tomorrow's Monday. So another week is beginning. I wanted to talk about something that I've mentioned a couple of times to you, and that is the faded events. So, some of you have been asking about this, and I thought I'm gonna make an audio about it. It's a really hard question to fully answer because, of course, you have to keep in mind that nobody really knows everything about these things and that there's a veil of mystery around them, and some things we just can't know. So, for example, we can't know what exactly happens after we die because, even though we all probably were there, right, we still don't know. So what I can tell you from my education and my research over these 20 years is that there are some events that are just meant to happen and cannot be avoided. So, for example, it's definitely when you meet your karmic partners, um, which most of us will have. Some will not have karmic partners. Some will have karmics in different forms. It will be not a love relationship, it can be something else. Or, some don't have karmics at all for some reason that we don't know right now, right? Because we all have different paths, we all have different, we're all very, very different paths on different levels, whatever it really is. So you can't avoid meeting a karmic partner. You made this contract before you were born, and it's gonna happen. I mean, it can be delayed and stuff like that, but it can't be avoided. It's just gonna have to happen. Now, what's important to mention is also that we do have free will. We do have free will, and we do influence things ourselves as well. Not everything is destiny, not everything is fated or meant to be. Just some things are. But what I've noticed is that even some things that are actually fated and meant to be can be avoided sometimes. I don't know how some can and some can't, and why. But I'm gonna tell you anyways what I found. For example, I'm gonna give you an example that's like a real example, not from my practice, like actually astrology example. So there was this person in history. Well, not so long ago. Like this person died in 2005. So it was a Dutch woman that was the oldest person ever from the Netherlands. So when she died, she was 115 years old. Okay. What is interesting, and you can look it up. It's her name is. I hope I'm gonna pronounce it right. It's a Dutch name, so I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well or pronouncing the name well. It's Henny van Adel Schipper. So the interesting thing is when you look at her natal chart, right? She was born 2 months prematurely, and everything in her birth chart, so her natal chart, her birth chart, whatever you want to call it, indicates that she wouldn't survive infancy, so that she would die as this little infant. And yet, she lived to be 115 years old, and she died. So that faded event definitely was avoided, right? How and why, I don't know, because we can't really know. Were her parents, doing some sort of spells? Were they what was going on. Were they working with some practitioners, astrologers, whoever? I mean, I can't really know. Uh, but something definitely happened here, and it was avoided. And not yet that she did not die as an infant, but she lived to be 115 years old and became the oldest woman that lived in the Netherlands, as we know, as it's recorded for now. So, this is very fascinating, isn't it? It tells us that fated things can be avoided, even like deaths, because this was like a fated death in the natal chart. It's like a big deal when you have a death in your natal chart. It's like pronounced and meant to happen at a certain time, and then you manage to avoid it. And she didn't consciously avoid it. Obvious. I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming, since she was an infant, and a prematurely born one that wasn't even supposed to be born yet. So it's interesting, isn't it? What's also interesting, I think I've mentioned it already, that most famous people, like politicians, actors, singers, like celebrities, but also like world leaders, they all, use services of practitioners, witches, astrologers, because they know that, we all have potential to do so much more. And that's what I'm telling you. That's what this whole channel is about. We all have potential to do so much more and to do so much better with your life and to transform and change events. Well, not change them because they're happened already, but but we can change circumstances later on and things like that with magic. So magic is here to make our lives better and to actually fully develop our potential, which these people know. And this is the difference between a lot of celebrities and like a common person. A common person doesn't really believe in these things, think it's like, I don't know, stupid, whatever. And like a celebrity knows it works, and it helped this person to rise to fame, for example, to get the money, to get the fame. um, it's been used since forever, and some people that are aware of it have used it in their advantage. And most celebrities use these things, and some of them are even talking about it. They all have their astrologers, they all have their practitioners, they all do their rituals, blah blah blah. It's a fact, I'm not making this up. I've even worked with some celebrities that, well, they weren't celebrities yet, here in my country, nothing majorly big. But, people do have some potentials, they have some talents. And then with magic, these potentials and talents can actually involve more than they naturally would if you would just not use magic and just live a normal life as it would, like natural life, let's call it natural life, like without the interference of magic. So I just wanted to mention that, just so you can see that what we're doing here is, number one, real, number two, can really change your life, and number three, yes, you can pretty much get everything you want with magic within reason, especially if you use the astrology spell, where we can actually see how much potential there is for a certain thing and what exactly needs to be done, what the transits are, how to do it, all the stuff. So far, the astrology spell that I've been performing since January this year, it's now March, has already been very successful. Most clients have gotten already their manifestations. Of course, it has been used along with other spells, because usually when there's an issue and a problem and a hard situation, we need to do different things, not just one thing, because different things need to be done. as I already mentioned, so never mind that. But it just shows you how much it all influences, like the stars, the planets, all of those stuff are influencing our lives, but we can use that influence and create it for something different. If we just let it naturally develop, it would go, differently, and then we can use magic to transform it into something we would rather have. So that's it. It's really hard to talk about fated and destined events when you know some examples of even fated deaths that have been avoided. But then there are so many examples of fated deaths, sorry, that have actually happened. And what I've been doing, I have been researching astrology for years now. I'm not an astrologer, don't get me wrong. That's why I work with one, because I'm nowhere near skilled as he is. I just, it's kind of a hobby for me. I like to research things. It's also my natal chart that I love it. I love to learn new things, and I have interest in things like this since I'm a Scorpio moon, and a witch basically. So I've been researching the natal charts of some celebrities that have died in like these tragic events, bizarre deaths, just to see if their natal charts were kind of inclining that's going to happen. And yeah, they always were. They're like, you can look it up. There are even some astrologers have blogs about it and pages about it where they explain exactly what placement and stuff like that, and they similarities between placements between different celebrities that died in similar ways. It's really, I guess it's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone will want to research this or be interested in this. I just am, was, and am. So it's interesting how you can actually see it in their natal chart that such a tragic event was meant to happen, was destined and fated, and did happen actually indeed. And then for some people, it has been avoided, which is again, which makes you go, is everything, is it, are things, these big things really faded? Can they be avoided? And yes, they can. Like anything can obviously happen. So it's so extraordinary to me, and I hope it's getting more and more interesting to you as well, to kind of listen to things like this. So let me know if you would like more of these bizarre stories, or whatever you want to call them. I have a lot because I'm interested in things like that. So let me know if you're interested too, or if you find this completely boring and there's no use for me to do this. I'm gonna stop doing it. I don't want this channel to be about my interest, right? So let me know if you hated this audio. Anyways, bye.